What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of BTB RV Rants. Let's dive straight into the questions. So the first question comes from a subscriber asking, when deciding on a 3/4 ton truck, is having four-wheel drive really necessary? Is the extra traction worth the loss in fuel economy, or is it negligible when towing a larger travel trailer or fifth wheel? That is a great question, and it's one I get asked all the time, believe it or not. I don't necessarily believe that four-wheel drive is absolutely required if you're never going to use it. If you don't go in areas that require using four-wheel drive, then a two-wheel drive truck is going to be just fine. The biggest benefit, oddly enough, when purchasing a four-wheel drive truck is really the fact it's going to hold its value better. A two-wheel drive truck isn't quite as appealing as a four-wheel drive truck, and because of that, you're not going to get as much in terms of resale value or trade-in value. And even dealerships might tell you that if it were four-wheel drive, it would get a higher value from them if you plan on trading it in. Many times people end up buying a two-wheel drive truck, they save $3,000 or $4,000, and then they go back and trade it in for a four-wheel drive truck because they feel that's what they should have done originally, and they end up losing even more money. So in that specific scenario, it's just better to go ahead and opt for a four-wheel drive truck, even if you have a slight loss in fuel economy. Now, I'm not saying a two-wheel drive truck isn't great. A lot of people tow with two-wheel drive trucks. They're generally going to have a higher payload and towing capacity than their four-wheel drive counterpart, but they're just not going to be as appealing at the end of the day when it comes time to trade it in or to sell it. So that's the thing you want to think about. So the next question is from a viewer with a 2018 F-150 Super Crew with the 5-liter V8 and a four-wheel drive truck. He's asking if the cargo capacity of his truck is 1,865 pounds, what do I suggest in terms of the largest travel trailer and tongue weight that he should go with? I would suggest looking for a travel trailer with a gross vehicle weight rating of around 6,000 pounds. You could probably go all the way up to about 7,000 pounds, but I still recommend the 6,000 pound range. That's going to put you right at about 800 pounds worth of tongue weight whenever you factor in loading up your trailer. What you want to do is you want to avoid having a trailer that has awkward weight and balance with weight in the wrong areas or applying too much tongue weight to the vehicle. The reason you really want to avoid trailers that are any heavier than that is because if you look at a trailer that has a gross vehicle weight rating upwards of 7,000 pounds, you're looking at a tongue weight nearly around 1,000 pounds, and that weight can easily change the dynamics of driving your vehicle, and I just want you to be in the safest position possible, especially if this is going to be the first time you tow a travel trailer RV. Now the next question comes from a viewer asking what my opinion is on electric anti-sway devices such as the Haze, the Tucson, and the Sway Command units for RVs. Basically what these are, they're modules that you connect between the truck and the trailer, and they modulate the brakes side to side to help control the trailer's movement in the event of sway. Now, in my opinion, I think any device that can help limit sway in the event of a sway event, I know that all sounds redundant, is important simply because if you don't have that specific piece of equipment and you're running an anti-sway or a weight distribution sway control hitch and it's not set up perfectly, if you start to experience a sway event, you really need to know how to control it. And if these modules help, if they can help control the trailer's movement and get you back in a straight line quicker, then I'm all for that. I am all about safe towing, and I think it's more important to utilize technology the right way, whether or not it's a sway control hitch, whether or not it's this type of equipment that uses modulation between the brakes, or whether it's simply your ability to understand and how to overcome sway when it happens. All of that's important, and it's very important to use as much technology that makes you feel as comfortable and safe as possible when you're towing a trailer and you're potentially putting your life, your family's life, or other people's lives on the line when you're towing. Now the last question is going to be kind of a complicated question, and it's a little bit more difficult to answer than some. Basically, a subscriber has a manual 2015 Jeep Wrangler Unlimited Rubicon 410 rear axle ratio with a 2.5-inch lift running 35-inch tires. They're looking to get a pop-up camper, specifically a Rockwood Premier 2514G. Their Jeep has a 3,500 pound tow capacity, and this trailer is going to weigh upwards of about 3,100 pounds with about 500 pounds resting on the back of their Jeep. The issue is that the tongue jack on the front of the camper has a front crank which looks like it's going to make contact with the spare tire on the back of the Jeep. And they're trying to figure out, should they get a hitch extension? Because hitch extensions generally have a derated capacity, they don't really want to go with that, simply because it could cause other problems. So you're kind of on the right path. First of all, the thing that you really need to keep in mind before anything at all is by moving the connection point back further behind your Jeep, it's going to cause front instability in your Jeep. Plus, added to the fact that you have a lift on your Jeep, it could really lead to kind of some scary white knuckle moments while you're towing. What I would recommend is to limit as much of that length as possible between the back axle of your Jeep and the connection point of your trailer. One way of doing that, so you don't have to work with an extension, is to possibly get a roof mount for your spare tire, or to put the spare tire in your trailer above the axles on the trailer. Basically, don't have it hanging off the back of your truck. That's one of the reasons why you're going to have to consider some type of an extension back there. If you go with an extension, a suggestion I would have, and I can't even guarantee this is going to fix your problem, so don't 100% base whatever you do on this, is perhaps running a weight distribution setup that will position some of the weight on the front axle of your Jeep as opposed to all of it hanging out behind the rear axle. That might help a little bit, but the specific setup that you're going with is pushing the tow capacity of your Jeep right to its max, and what you don't know is, did the tires and did the lift kit affect your tow capacity? Oftentimes the tow capacity of your vehicle is based on so many things other than just what the manufacturer states is a number. It's based on the suspension that they equip it with. It's based on the factory tires. It's based on the height of the vehicle off the ground, all of that. So when you change that, you change the tow capacity, and there's really no simple formula to determine what that new tow capacity is on your truck. So that is something you just want to keep in mind. I know I keep referring to your Jeep as a truck, but I think you understand what I'm saying. Just be very careful. The closest thing I would suggest to trying to fix the problem would be to take your spare tire off, either put it on top of your Jeep, throw it inside of the trailer, and run a weight distribution setup for your hitch. That way your tongue is closer to the back axle, and you can move some of that weight to the front axle of your Jeep with the weight distribution setup. Anyways, guys, I hope that you've gotten a lot of information out of this segment. If you haven't had a chance, please subscribe to this channel as well as my main channel, Big Truck, Big RV. We'll talk to you again very soon.